Guys, I fucking did that whole video without having the volume up, bro. There's always something wrong, bro. I'm just gonna, but you know what? That last one was an hour long, so I'm just gonna like, still, if you want to do a serious view of like my in-depth response to this, watch that video. Just, I don't know, remember what's being said. I have the captions on, so at least you can read the captions and read what's being said, but still watch that if you want to have a serious, in-depth, analysis, I guess, if I don't even want to call it that. But I'm just going to start this. Hopefully it'll be way quicker than an hour. I'll put it at 2x speed and just give you the gist of my response to this.
But don't you understand now that like this is what peace through strength gets you? Like this is worse, objectively worse than this POA.
Well, if it actually goes worse. Well, really quickly, if it actually goes through.
He has to say if it actually goes through because he realizes he won't agree with, he won't stay on topic. Dumbass, you have to stay on this deal. Okay, we agreed to the deal, so man up, pull your big boy freaking britches up, and understand and start to argue in the context of this deal, of what the deal actually says. Stop doing it. Oh, it might not even be a deal. It's not even Friday yet. It's not even Friday yet. He actually literally says this in his video. It's not Friday yet. Well, it's going to be Friday. Tomorrow's Friday. Regardless, even if the deal falls through for whatever reason, this is what we are agreeing to now. This is what peace through strength gets you, period. Stop trying to beat around the bush and just accept the fact that you know the deal sucks and debate with me about how possibly this is better than what we got before. Like you were saying it was going to be on Jubilee. You were like, I love peace through strength. I'm going to support peace through strength. It's going to get us great concessions, big boy concessions, amazing concessions. And it didn't. So admit it.
Be pretty bad, but again,
exactly, it will be pretty. Stop isolating. This is how his mind works. You're gonna realize this throughout the rest of the video. I don't care about if it's bad or good or bad. I don't care if this new deal is good or bad. I mean, obviously I do, but in context, his logic sucks. He can't logically think. It really doesn't matter any value statements, good or bad, about it. We need to compare. This whole discussion is all about comparison, okay? So keep that in mind while you are listening to this. He needs to stop isolating it and being like, yeah, this new deal is bad, or oh, this new deal is good, or the JCPOA was bad, or it was good. I don't give a freak, bro. I don't care. Your whole reason for doing this war, operating with your logic that I disagree with in the first place, but just operating within your logic, peace through strength was going to give us stronger concessions from Iran. It was going to give us a better deal through war. We were going to get a better, more favorable deal for America and less favorable for Iran, and especially their ability to fund proxies and have more money. You were saying just giving them money inherently is a bad thing because we don't need to support the regime. We're doing all of that now to a greater extent. It fulfills all of your criteria, whether I'd call them bad or good. I don't care if they're bad or good, but this peace through strength crap fulfills the criteria that you gave for a deal being unpeaceful, is what you said. It fulfills that to a T plus more. It is a worse deal than we had before, period.
Certain provisions of the bad deal that I obviously don't agree with would include like monitoring.
Focus on the deal. And later on he goes and he's like, oh, actually it was okay because the war itself got us what we wanted because we blew up more stuff. Hey, idiot, even in your Jubilee debate, you admitted that logic gets you forever wars because they're just going to build back. So no, it's not just because we made marginal weakness, we weakened them marginally. It doesn't matter. They're going to build back, as you admitted. And your logic saying that we need to always weaken them when they do that entails a forever war. And on top of that, as the freaking watermelon on top, you said in that video that the main reason was just simply that they have the largest missile stockpile in the Middle East. They need to not have the largest. They need to stop having so many nukes. Well, they still do, idiot. It didn't take care of that at all. We weakened them to some extent. 13 service members dead later. 150 dead schoolgirls later. Thousands of civilians dead later. The global economy being out. You talk about the Houthis destroying the global economy. This destroyed the global economy by 2 trillion more than the Houthis did. Exponentially more than the Houthis did. All of your criteria fit this way more.
of the money that would be used. So there's going to be direct monitoring of the money so that it's not used for terrorism. The reason why I'm against the deal is because I don't want to legitimize the government, period. Not funding terrorism, not funding groups like Hamas or the Houthis in Yemen to disrupt global maritime trade up to $200 billion worth of...
He's going into irrelevant shit. I don't care. We both know, we both admit that we don't like the deal. Why is he trying? He wants to signal to his audience, look, I know a lot of stuff, so I'm going to start talking about the deal for no reason. Stop talking about the deal for no reason. Yeah, we both agree it's bad. Stop explaining to me how it's bad.
Economic damage in 2024, stuff like that is good. Limiting Hezbollah is good. All of those.
And again, what I mean when I say bad is, I'll start being literal. I need to use precise language. Let me back this up. What I meant was, we both agree that these terms are more favorable for Iran. So stop explaining how the terms are more favorable for Iran. You need to start explaining why peace through strength gets you a better outcome somehow, even though you admit it didn't. How negotiating wouldn't have given us a better deal with less losses on our side and less losses on humanity's side, because I'm counting those Iranian civilians as losses as well. Humanity lost.
Different things are for sure good because Iran is the main axis in the Middle East, funding these different groups and creating these different conflicts that even come up and creep here. Who received 300 missiles from what country? It was obviously Iran that gave 300 missiles to Cuba. Now, you're saying this is all peace through strength. This is where peace through strength gets you. Well, one, I still don't think that the actual short-term conflict we got into with Iran was bad. Why? Because the Ayatollah was killed.
Stop talking about what the war itself got you and start focusing on, or like the little marginal law. Like he does this all. He does this for the rest of the debate. Oh, look, we killed the Ayatollah. Oh, look, we weakened the Navy. Oh, look, we weakened their missile stockpile. Yeah, all that. There's a worse Ayatollah. They still have a Navy, as much as you guys want to talk about it, and they're going to build it back. And they still have the largest missile stockpile in the Middle East. All of those, we were worse on the first front. It's questionable on the second front, and it's meaningless on the third front.
Natanz, Fordow, and Isfahan nuclear facilities. Hold on. Natanz, Fordow, and Isfahan nuclear facilities were hit and struck, right? Top nuclear scientists were killed. Their missile stockpile, which was the largest in the Middle East, has been significantly depleted. They essentially have no Navy.
It's still the largest, and they're going to build back. And you admitted in your retarded debate with Dean on Jubilee that this logic gets you a forever war unless there's an agreement for them to stop building up their nuclear stockpile. And there is none of that. You didn't get that. You thought we would last Sunday when that video came out, and now you realize that we can't, that that's not attainable.
There's essentially no Navy, and there's essentially no Navy. Sir, stop interrupting me for a second. Just hold on. They essentially now have no Navy, and their destroyer. Oh, this guy's already starting to whine a little bit. Just calm down for a second. So they essentially have no Navy, and in the Indian Ocean, their destroyer was destroyed. So when we look at all of what's happened to the regime, not to mention $7 billion worth of oil revenue loss, when we blockaded their blockade, all of that was good. All of that, was.
This dude is not. He's like less than a year younger than me, by the way.
That's great in all of those sorts of different.
He's not a little kid.
And they're losing.
Okay, hold on.
Exactly.
According to who, they're getting more money currently. And they're losing.
$7 billion compared to 300
See what he's doing now? Well, currently, right now, it's not Friday yet, so they're not getting their money yet. Oh my God, will you stop playing these tricks to get out of the discussion and weasel out of the discussion and focus on what the actual agreement says? They are getting $300 billion, says the agreement. Focus on the fucking agreement, bro.
Okay, but this is the deal that you agreed to, that peace through strength.
And then he goes, he's playing semantics. Wait, I personally didn't agree to it. Oh my God, I'm gonna lose my mind. They have more money. 300 billion is more than they lost. Well, they don't have the money yet. It's not Friday yet. Okay, but this is still the deal that you agreed to, or that you supported the war. You said peace through strength would get us a better favorable deal than it would be more favorable terms than for America than we had on the JCPOA, and it would be less favorable terms for Iran than it would be under the JCPOA. That didn't happen. And what's he go? Well, I don't agree with those terms. Oh my God! You said it doesn't matter if you don't agree with the terms. If I accepted that would be a free get out of jail. You could just support any war, and then if we don't get the perfect outcome, you're right because you don't like the outcome. Hey, idiot! This is how politics works. You have to try and guess. Not really guess. Guess is the wrong word, but predict what is going to be the outcome at the end of this. Liberals were all right. Every single thing we said happened. Meanwhile, this guy, completely and utterly wrong. All the things that he was soft launching that he thought would be the outcome in his Jubilee debate never happened. None of that happened. And he goes, well, I don't like that. It doesn't matter. You still supported the war, and now I'm telling you, this is what it got you. Idiot, bro.
Explicitly say I disagree with the deal. What you're saying is this is where it gets you. This is where it gets you. I don't think this deal will even last. But if anything, if you're a leftist,
and this is what he goes. Well, I don't even think it'll last. Oh my God, it doesn't matter. If it doesn't last, that could be part of it. Now, You have to go further and be like, I don't think it'll last. It looks like we're probably going to have something actually better than the JCPOA. That would be supporting your argument. And then tell me how you have something that would be better than the JCPOA. What indication do you have to think that we would get a better deal than we have now, than we actually already agreed to, just didn't sign off yet? Why are you saying that? He's just going, it might actually fall through. The reason he's saying in all these different little ways about, well, it hasn't happened yet, it might fall through, all this stuff is because he realizes that it's a bad deal. We have a worst, I need to stop saying bad. He realizes we have a less favorable deal for America and a more favorable deal for Iran than we did under the JCPOA. It was more favorable for America and less favorable for Iran under the JCPOA. That's the facts. Those are the facts.
I assume we're going to get a worse deal after it. There's no indication that we're going to get anything better than this or anything better than the JCPOA. No indication whatsoever.
Who says?
No, that's the burden of proof is on you. You are the one that.
No, you're saying that. You're saying that there's no indication.
No, the reason I'm bringing that up is because you just got through saying, well, it's going to fall through. Okay, well, if it's going to fall through, that's half of your argument. Sure, it might fall through. Who's to say that what we get after that is going to be better? Is it going to be better? You think it's going to be better? How? We're comparing. This whole time we're trying to compare things, and he just isolates everything. The whole discussion. I can't. I'm just going to play it.
Who says? That's who. That's who we can't get something
If there is an indication, then the burden of proof is on you. If there is an indication.
so
And do you see that? I want you guys to realize that before he goes and tries to explain, and he tries to, because he's so audience-centered, he has to be like, hey, audience, guess what? I do know what burden of proof is. Let me explain how I know what burden of proof is. This is what it is. I'm saying, I'm looking around. I don't see any indication that there's going to be a better deal. I don't see an indication of that. Is the burden of proof on me to prove that I don't see any indication that I've had no indication? No. Same reason. I don't see a flying dragon around here. I don't see a flying. There is no indication that there's a flying dragon around here. Prove it. Prove it. No, idiot. If you believe there's a flying dragon, you have to prove that there's a flying dragon. Oh my God, I can't. That you have the burden of proof. Period. He's like, you're the one that introduced this concept of if there's a better deal or not, and so therefore, this is how his brain is actually working. Since you introduced that concept, the burden of proof is on you. That's not how it works.
I'm just saying that nobody has given me an indication that we're going to get a better deal than the JCPOA.
My position is actually, this is my position. Right, my position. Oh, you care about innocent? Hold on. You care about those innocent, like innocent girls were killed?
And by the way, this is what he's doing. Notice what our discussion was just about. Now he wants to go into a tangent for no reason and start explaining about, as if I'm saying, I never even said that the schoolgirls were intentional. I didn't say that here. I brought up the schoolgirls for what reason? I'll give it to you.
I'm just saying that nobody has given me an indication that we're going to get a better deal than the JCPOA.
My position is actually, this is my position. Right, my position. Oh, you care about innocent? Hold on. You care about those innocent, like innocent girls were killed? Okay, tell me who was killed.
I use that as support of being like, hey, we have a worse deal, and then worse outcomes came to get that worse deal, like negative outcomes that would not have happened, and yet now we also have a worse deal. Like, it might be permissible if there was just some great goodness that came out of the end of this deal. It was like, those girls, they died, but they died for the greater good type thing. I could at least give you that, but I can't. It's literally just all bad.
Hold on, brother, calm down, brother.
That's why I was saying it. I wasn't. Now he wants to. It doesn't matter. It could be unintentional, and that could still support my argument, because my argument, I'm using the innocent girls as a way to show that bad things happen because of the war. I didn't say it was intentional. But when you launch a war, you know all these horrible things are going to happen. You know it. He even admits this. And so knowing that all these horrible things are going to happen, including dead children potentially, you better have a damn good reason for launching said war. It better be something like great come out of it, like something better come out of it. And when good in this circumstance, keep in mind the reason we're launching the war is because the JCPOA wasn't a good deal in their eyes. So, in other words, in order for the war to be worth anything, we should have a better deal than we had before. If we don't, then that means we should have just stuck with the deal we had before. That's common sense.
It was a quick rhetorical question.
That's what good means in that circumstance. You idiot. It doesn't just mean, good doesn't just mean any small little thing positive you can point to.
Right, so during December, hold on, since you care about what happened, okay, we're getting a bit of a crash out. Calm down for a second. Since you care about what happened.
And he wants to accuse me of a whataboutism later. This is a whataboutism. He's like, hey, you're mad about these girls. Well, what about these girls? What about these people? You're mad about injustices. You're not mad about this injustice. That is a textbook whataboutism.
Those innocent schoolgirls, February 28, 2026. Tell me what happened late December to early
I don't know.
January.
That's irrelevant. I don't
How many
know.
run? 42. So I'll tell you.
Totally
32
irrelevant. If you start freaking appealing to some unrelated, that's the big word, unrelated other story, and start going like, well, you're not applying the same logic there. Again, unrelated story, which that is, has nothing to do with this. We never attacked those people. We attacked the schoolgirls. Those are what my tax dollars are funding. Yeah, I can be mad about that without throwing my arms in the air about every single injustice. Do you realize there are 8 billion people on Earth? How in the hell am I going to be able to just get behind every injustice on Earth? That's impossible.
I'll tell you, sir.
I don't need to know
See, you're a performative activist. 42,000 people were slaughtered
I'm
by the
not.
IRGC. I
I'm
did
not
not
a
hear your mouth
performative
or any
activist.
leftist mouth or any anti-Iran war mouth about that. 42,000 people. Many were shot in the head, killed for protesting against the tyrannical IRGC. So you don't care about the 42,000 people that were killed by the regime, but you care about the 120 schoolgirls that were killed in the first attack or like early moments of the war. It was unintentional. So is that where your priorities are? 42,000 people dying? No.
I don't care if it was unintentional. I don't think it was unintentional. I think it was certainly intentional, but irrelevant to the argument. I love leaving value judgments out of the argument because it just exposes these morons for what they are. They get so hung up on the emotions and the value judgments and the good or bad or intentional. I don't care. The point is, we can at least, regardless of if it was intentional or not, we can at least understand that it's not a good thing for innocent girls to be killed. Launching the war is probably going to start that. So if you launch the war, and keep in mind the reason for launching it was because you thought that what we had previously wasn't good enough. So if you launch the war with intention and with the sole purpose of getting a deal that was better than before, then you better get a deal that was better than before, or doing all of that was meaningless. Common sense.
No say at all. 127 people.
Where
dying.
is the
That's-
common
that's-
sense?
you
Where
care
is
about-
it?
that's
It's
called
not in the room
performative
with
activism.
us.
You are being performative. I'll unmute him now so we can.
No, I'm not.
Performative
Guess
activism.
what? My money, I didn't fund any of those killings. I agree that those are a problem, and I think we should do things against that. Do I think that bombing innocent schoolgirls has anything?
That's another great point by me. That's another great point by me. I actually do think it's a bad thing. I think we should definitely help those people for sure. I think we should help those people. Do I think going to war and blowing up their regime and blowing up their Ayatollah that they all love, do I think doing this is the right way to go about it? No. Do I think that it's going to have any good outcomes come from it? No. Am I right to think that? Yes, because it hasn't changed. It hasn't changed. There is no indication that there's going to be a better treatment of these civilians now. None. And if anything, it'll probably be the same or worse with this new Ayatollah. There is no provision in this agreement that has anything to do with their treatment of civilians. None. None whatsoever. So I'm the one that actually cares about it and actually wants to see a realistic way of addressing it. You're just like using this as a way to support the war. Like, oh, it's okay for me to support this war against them because look at how they treat their civilians. You are the one that actually doesn't care. I swear I care more about them than this idiot. I actually want to see a realistic way to help those people. This guy doesn't. He doesn't care. It's a way to support his dumb argument.
Do you know where that was, sir? Do you know where that was?
My tax dollars did not fund.
Do you know where that? Do you know where that was?
Where what was?
That was in Manav, Iran, right? Right next to what?
I don't. This is all irrelevant stuff.
No, this is you brought it up.
The JCPOA, this is a commenter. The JCPOA was a disastrous crap deal that paid for a nuclear program for them. You're already wrong. It doesn't pay for their nuclear program. It gave them money, and Matt's argument is that it pays for terrorist groups. Certainly doesn't pay for a nuclear program for them. And you're just like Matt singling out the JCPOA. I can agree the JCPOA was crap. I don't care. You can say it was crap. But objectively, regardless of how you look at it, because that's going to change from person to person. But what doesn't change from person to person is the objective fact that it is more favorable for Iran than the new one is more favorable for Iran than the JCPOA was. And it is less favorable for America than the JCPOA was. Period. Period. There's no arguing with that. He can't argue with that. That's why he's randomly talking about schoolgirls now, even though I used it as a supporting, like, I just quickly brought it up. Like, I was using that in a, like, association with other bad things, like the 13 service members dying so far. I was just saying these different things we can all agree we don't like to see. And when you launch the war, you understand these things are going to happen. So you better have a good reason to do it.
You brought it up, sir. You brought it up. I'm asking
Yeah,
you
I
about
brought
something.
it
You
up.
brought it up. Let's talk about the
What building was it
circumstances.
next to?
Oh, so okay. So
That's
this
what you
is what we're doing. We're doing the buzzword city thing, where it's like
I don't even know what you're talking about. I didn't use a buzzword.
And by the way, let me on
What
TikTok.
buzzword are you even talking about?
Brother, hold on.
What buzzword did I use?
Brother, hold on. So this is when they do either a buzzword or they have a phrase, and then that's it.
Okay.
And then they don't have any
Who was
other
that?
context. So you don't know where it happened. It happened in
Not
Minabi Ron. Do you know where Minabi Ron actually is?
No clue.
Doesn't
Doesn't
okay,
matter.
no clue at all. Okay, great. Do you know where the school building was right next to?
No clue. Doesn't matter.
Right, a naval base.
Oh, I think he's calling just the very fact that I brought up the schoolgirls dying as a buzzword. It's really, I guess, a buzz point. But no, I'm not. And even, you know, I would give you that I am. Sure, I am. It's a buzzword. That, along with all the other buzzwords, if you're going to call them that I bring up for showing the losses that we got as a consequence of this war. Now you need to go on the other side and show all the good things that we got, and show how somehow those outweigh the negatives, how those positives that you never bring up outweigh the negatives.
Base. A naval base, right?
It
And the reason why it happened, wait, wait, hold on. You're saying it's totally irrelevant. Hold on. When it comes to innocent civilians dying in warfare, really quick, this is good. When it comes to innocent civilians dying in warfare, apart from the lives that were lost that were innocent, which is always unfortunate every single time they are actually innocent civilians, what is the most important thing we should look at when it comes to people that perpetrated this? What do we mainly look at to see whether or not, like, what do we look at? I'm trying to give you a clue here.
What does that mean? What do you want me to say? What is the thing that we look at?
Like when we have failed military intelligence or anything that happens where innocents are killed or whatever, what do we look at on our military's end or any military's end? What do we look at? What makes it? What changes it from like genocide or war crime or just something like what? Are you getting what I'm saying at all?
I guess I guess it would be. Of course I don't know, and I'd say this is nothing that. But what I'd be guessing that they look at is, was there any attempt or much of an attempt to actually watch your actions and actually have a bit of caution? That's what.
Sort of caution, right? So you're getting there. So in warfare, we have something called civilian collateral damage, which means that you're always going to have civilians in the middle of a war and a conflict. It happened in Iran, which is a coastal city in Iran. It also happened because it was right next to a naval base, and I believe they were going off of intelligence that there was not a schoolgirl there at all. And there's also more things. Like it was on, I believe, February 28th. If someone can correct me, it was actually a Saturday.
All of this is so irrelevant. I don't know why he's honing in on this stuff. He's going in on a whole separate tangent around this schoolgirl and trying to prove. I will admit, I will agree with you just for the sake of argument that it was completely unintentional. It literally does not matter for what I originally came into this debate for. It does not matter at all.
So there are many different reasons actually for why they did not believe there was going to be schoolgirls there.
And I'll say later in this debate how it doesn't matter, in case you're that much of a retard watching this right now. If you're that retarded and you don't know and you can't comprehend why that's the case, that it's irrelevant.
The other part about it, brother, hold on. The other most important part about it is intent. If they did not intentionally do so, that is also something that we look at. Even when it comes to things like murder. Do you know what the difference between manslaughter and murder is?
I think manslaughter is like you didn't really mean to do it as much, but you were still being negligent.
Somewhat, but it's unintentional killing of a human being. Murder is first degree murder at least is a premeditated, planned killing of a human being. And so it was not murder, right? It was an accident, and there were different factors that allowed it to happen. But it's kind of weird when you guys cling on to this weird thing where it's like, okay, there were civilian casualties.
You're the one clinging on to it, buddy.
Get rid of why we're doing it. Let's stop all of our ideas. No, innocent civilians died in Dresden. Hold on for a second. Innocent civilians died in Dresden. Innocent civilians died in Munich. Innocent civilians died in Berlin. Innocent civilians died every single where.
He's going on a script. I've seen him done this all the time when people will bring up about Israel, how they treat Gaza. This is just his script. He's just going on a script right now. Sure, I will give this to you. It doesn't even... I would love to debate him on this later. But for the sake of the argument that I bring up at the start, please, if you're watching this and you're an idiot and you don't understand that he's going off on all these tangents, write down what the topic of the original debate is about. What I've been arguing this entire time. Write it down in front of you, and as he says every word, look at it right next to you. Right next to you, look at it. This is a comparison debate. Is the plan that we signed on to now, through war, by war, is it a better deal than we had before? And if you want to add on to that, as I am, then don't even just look at what is on paper, like the deal itself, but the things that America itself lost in each one, and the things that Iran itself gained in each one. Namely, America lost, and I'm going to say humanity, but America lost 13 service members. America lost all the amount of money that we collectively spent on gas prices. America lost favorability with the rest of the world, at least temporarily. America lost trust. People don't trust our word anymore. America lost free passage through the Strait of Hormuz for the foreseeable future, at least. And that's a big one right there that I want them to keep. I should have kept bringing this up during the debate. I'm not good at debates where I just sit here and let him, mostly because I'm worried about him kicking me, because he loves to kick. And that's the only reason I'm being quiet and letting him do his whole spiel out. If it was my live, I would be like, shut up, shut up, shut up. Every single second I would have muted him, and I'd be like, stop talking about this. If it was up to me, I'd say, stop talking about these girls right now. Shut up. Let's get back to the original point, the point you should have be written on paper right now. I'd be like, shut your mouth. Shut up. I don't care. I'll give it to you. That's exactly what I'd have been saying to him, but I can't because it's his live, and this guy will kick you in a heartbeat, bro.
Civilians died in Japan. Never in warfare will you never have an innocent civilian die. It's always bad. It's always awful. But let's stop using just innocent
script. Not interested in the debate. Not interested in the debate. Doesn't matter. Didn't never argued this stuff. God, I could just kill him, bro. I could just rip his head off.
No, it's not. Listen to what I have to say then. Let me tell you what it is. Okay, so we'll just assume that, you know what, I'll just say, fine, sure, it was totally unintentional. Okay, well, now that the war's over with, launching the war was intentional, and as you just...
Now I'm getting back, this is me actually being responsible and having a brain and getting back to what the original argument is about, and not all these retarded tangents about...
In all wars, there are civilians that die, so just launching the war, you know that innocent civilians are going to die, just by launching the war. So if there's not a really good outcome out of...
Look at your paper right now. Am I talking about what's written on the paper? Yes. Now, later on, look at the paper and see if Matt is talking about what's on your paper.
The war that you launched that you knew innocent civilians were going to die from, then you shouldn't have launched the war, period.
Right, but there was a good outcome.
And we didn't get it. No, there wasn't.
No, there was a good outcome, though. The good outcome, we were talking...
Remember what I said earlier in the video, a good outcome is better than the JCPOA. That's what good means in this circumstance, because that's what you launched the war for. It doesn't mean, are there marginal positives? Are there some things we can point to that are positives? You can probably find things that the Nazi regime did that are slight little positives. It doesn't mean that, oh, well, they were a good regime now. My God.
The good outcome of just the actual... Can I answer? The good outcome of the militaristic actions was exactly what I mentioned. Natanz, Fordo, and Isfahan, their three main nuclear facilities were bombed. They had a large...
Didn't need to bomb them under the JCPOA. The only reason you would need to bomb them is if they are enriching towards weapons-grade uranium. Were they enriching towards weapons-grade uranium? No. Therefore... we solved that same deal or that same problem through negotiation without wasting tax dollars and without destroying stuff in another country. Meanwhile, you get less of a good outcome because in theory they could just keep enriching, and they probably are. Well, actually, no, they won't. But before the deal at all, whenever you dropped the bomb, there was no guarantee that they would agree to stop enriching. So you're bombing them without the guarantee yet that they're going to stop enriching, wasting U.S. tax dollars just to get, again, a little bit less of a good outcome as before. So totally irrelevant. Not a good point. Doesn't mean anything. This isn't a good outcome. This is a bad outcome. You wasted U.S. tax dollars to get the same little... We'll just call it the same. I'll just stop saying that it's not the same. We'll admit, you know what, fine. As soon as you destroy those nuclear enrichment facilities, they're never going to get a nuke again. Just like, or they won't get one until 2030, just like was under the JCPOA. Sure, I'll give you that. But you wasted U.S. tax dollars doing it. And you destroyed stuff overseas doing it. And you wasted effort that could have been used and attention that could have been used here domestically in America. You used it for BS that we had taken care of in 2015. So no, it's not better.
Sir, don't interrupt me, please. Let me finish. Their missile stockpile in the Middle East, which was the largest, has been significantly depleted.
It is still the largest, and it will continue to be the largest.
They have no navy whatsoever. They essentially had no navy and had to rely on like naval mines to actually start to disrupt and make the Strait of Hormuz semi-permeable, right?
Cool. They have no navy. They're going to build it right back up. In the Jubilee debate, you agreed that them being able to build it back up, the implication from this is that we're going to just be in a forever war. Therefore, our deal needs to have something that encompasses all of their military branches and their ability to fund proxy groups. Does this deal? No. So we wasted tax dollars to marginally lessen, or I'll just say substantially lessen their navy, which they weren't using to attack anybody in the first place. For what?
Right? And their military essentially... Why are you interrupting me so much? I'm trying to respond to what you said. So hold on. Let's just agree with this. Forget the deal that we don't know the intricate details of yet for a second.
We do know them.
Were the militaristic actions that happened in terms of every single way their military was depleted, was that positive?
Sure.
Thank you. There you go.
I'm giving him the sure. I say sure. I don't even agree with that. It's not. I say sure because this shouldn't be the end of. This shouldn't be the end of a point. He's like, boom, point made. No, that's not how this works. We have to compare the deal. Stop isolating one and just going, hey, well, it wasn't as good. The JCPOA wasn't as good. All right, now compare it to what we got now.
Actions that happen.
Or in this case, it'd be, sure, we lessened their navy. That's a good thing. Now, are we going to actually back up, look at the big picture, and see all of the gains and losses we made and compare them all? Are we going to do that? No, we're not. Not in this live, we're not.
Happened in terms of every single way their military was depleted. Was that positive?
Sure.
Thank you. There you go. So we did get a good outcome. We did get a good outcome.
No, we did not get a good outcome. We got marginally positive outcomes. If we just accept your retarded logic that destroying their missile stockpile in the Middle East is a good thing in the first place, which now Donald Trump himself doesn't even agree with. He said, if other countries have their missile stockpiles, it's not fair. I don't see it. We should let them have their own. I don't see why we should take theirs away. Everyone else gets one. Why can't they? So I actually disagree with it. I'm just saying sure because you can have that point. There's a lot more to consider whenever we look at your paper, compare the JCPOA versus this new deal and the gains and losses through military action, because before we didn't lose anything, but we lost a lot now through military actions. Gains and losses there. Well, we weakened their navy that they're totally not going to build right back up after this, and that I totally didn't say on my Jubilee debate that this implies a forever war if they just build it back up and we leave this war with no constraint on their navy and no constraint on their ballistic missile stockpile and no constraint on their ability to build back. I admitted it'd be a forever war and that wouldn't be a good outcome, but I'm just going to pretend that it is now because fuck it.
I'm saying I'll give you that. First off, I might even disagree with that, but I'm saying sure because
I might even disagree with that. Okay.
Look at that. Yeah, Trump disagrees with you too. So you're going to, if Trump said he disagrees with that, he told you the same thing he told reporters, would he be doing this right here? No, he wouldn't be doing this. He'd be like, oh, really, sir? Really? Is that what you think, sir? Oh, maybe I'll do some more research, sir.
Yeah, listen. Oh, sure, I can give you that. It doesn't matter though, because at the end you said, oh, we bombed their nuclear plants. Under the JCPOA, we didn't need to bomb their nuclear plants. Whatever, they're enrichment facilities. Your enrichment facilities.
See this shit? Like, focus on what we're saying, you asshole.
We didn't need to bomb the enrichment facility under the JCPOA. That is my point. We were objectively under a better deal. We didn't.
Okay, well, let's have that conversation.
Bomb, you literally lose money. Every single bomb we drop, that's money we lose. We had the exact same outcome with no bombs being dropped, with no tax dollars wasted.
Can we talk about that? Let's talk about that. This is actually going to be a better conversation. Now we can talk
Can you just shut up? Can we talk about that? No, how about you just talk about it and stop being like, hey, let's now get into a separate conversation now. No, this is part of the same conversation, idiot.
We had the exact same
position during the JCPOA. Let's not predict the future. Okay, hold on for a second. This deal is not an existing deal yet, so there is no deal until both sides
sign. Not predicting the future. This is his only argument that he has. Whenever I actually try and circle it back to what we're talking about, he has to reiterate the same thing. I circle it back to, hey, let's compare the two actual deals and the outcomes of each, and he goes, well, it's not actually set in stone yet. I mean, you're right that it's objectively worse. But, I mean, who cares? I mean, it's not actually here yet.
Agreement. So currently there's no deal. But let's compare right now. Sir, don't try to change history. Let's go with where we are right now, and let's compare it to the JCPOA.
Don't try to change history.
Was signed, I believe, UN 2231 was.
My God,
it encompasses Iran's funding of terrorist groups in the Middle East, like Hezbollah, the Houthis in Yemen, and Hamas.
Does this deal? No, it doesn't.
See, that's a whataboutism fallacy. No, you said
that's not a whataboutism fallacy. What he did earlier was certainly a whataboutism fallacy. Take a look at your paper. I'm being serious. You need to do this. Take a look at your paper. So these sub-points that we're going for the main point, let's back it up.
Right now, and let's compare it to the JCPOA. The Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action was signed, I believe, UN.
I thought we were going to... He says we're going to compare it. Are we going to compare it, or are you just going to sit here in isolation and look at everything by itself?
2231 was. Did it encompass Iran's funding of terrorist groups in the Middle East, like Hezbollah?
All right, yeah, let's compare it. Let's compare.
The Houthis in Yemen, and Hamas.
He says we're going to compare it, right? So I'm about to compare it for you. That's what he just said, so I'm about to do it.
Don't try to change history.
Look at that. Are you reading the screen right now? He says, let's compare right now.
Let's go with where we are right now, and let's compare it to the JCPOA.
Let's do that. Let's compare it to the JCPOA.
The Joint Comprehensive.
So he's about to use the JCPOA, and what is it? What is the that we're about to compare to the JCPOA? We're about to compare this new plan, whatever we're going to call the new plan. Or the new deal.
Signed, I believe UN 2231 was. Did it encompass Iran's funding of terrorist groups in the Middle East, like Hezbollah?
He's asking me a question. I'm going to say no, and then I'm going to compare it. I'm going to do exactly what he just said. Remember, I try to always rewind the clock and make sure we got the same. We're doing the same discussion, and let's see what his reaction to that is.
Does this deal? No, it doesn't.
See, that's a whataboutism fallacy. No, you said no. Hold on, stop for a second. Here you are getting cooked. So
it's not a whataboutism fallacy, bro. here you are getting cooked. No, I'm doing what you just said we were going to do. Compare it, which is what, look at your paper, the whole argument is about.
By the way, sir, don't interrupt me really quick because this is really good. This is where things get good. This is the polemical debate I'm talking about, guys. I made it very simple. And Ben Shapiro, by the way, mentioned this on Friendly Fire. There is no deal until both sides come to the table and sign something. So we're talking about a future deal. And by the way, it has been made explicitly and conspicuously clear that we don't know the intricate details of this deal that I know will probably be horrible, right? But it's not a deal yet. We don't have a deal.
Yeah, he knows will probably be horrible. Oh, horrible. But it's not a deal yet, so it's okay. So what, when I come back on Friday or whatever, whenever it actually is a deal, what is he going to say then? He's going to be like, are you going to actually admit now that, yes, it was a worse outcome now? Or are you just going to keep saying, well, we at least weakened their navy and we killed their Ayatollah, so it's okay, even though I was saying in my Jubilee debate that wouldn't even be close to enough. We need an actual restraint on all of their military operations, and we need confirmation that they're not going to do any more attacks on their own civilians. Even though I said all of that, and I understand that it's going to be a forever war if we just claim that we won because we weakened their military. Well, that means we would just keep having to need to weaken their military over and over again. He's advocating for forever wars. That's what he's doing.
Both sides have not signed any agreement. I'm checking the date. It's not Friday yet. And I try to keep you on track. Sir, stop interrupting me. I'm trying to keep you stop for a second. I'm trying to keep you on track. So there's no deal now. So we're going to compare it where we are now.
He's trying to keep me on track. He's trying to keep me on track. You need to stay on track. I'm the one that has to keep freaking getting us back on point, back on the actual topic.
During the JCPOA, the reason why, I asked you a question to defend the JCPOA, because you made the proposition. We were in a better position during the JCPOA. That's a positive claim. You now have the burden to prove it, and we're going to have that discussion, sir, so let's get into it in a second, okay?
I love how I must have really left a mark on him whenever I rightfully showed him that he actually had the burden of proof that time, and he was wrong, and he didn't know what burden of proof is. Now he's bringing it back up on a separate issue. Yeah, I'm so glad. I know that's strong for him.
So don't do what about is logical fallacy. You did a lot about is logical. You said we had a better position in the JCPOA. That's what you said. Hold on for a second.
Yeah. So whenever if my topic, if the main point is we had a better deal then than we do now, then you try to disprove that by saying, well, look at the bad thing that we had then. What am I going to say? Well, I never said it was good. I said it was better than what we have now. So let's look at what we have now. That's not a whataboutism fallacy. Oh my God. Oh my God.
You now have to prove that. And try not to do a whataboutism fallacy. You guys don't know what it is. A whataboutism fallacy is essentially when someone is asked to prove a point. Like, I make the claim of X.
This is going to be the worst example he ever has given that could be given, by the way. This is the worst possible example.
Claim of Y, right? And then he asks me, okay, let's say, for example, I say apples are better, or not, this is subjective. Let's say that someone makes a claim that, like, vaccines cause you to have an IQ of 55 or something. Let's say someone makes that claim. Okay, and you're like, okay, prove it. Prove that vaccines cause you to have an IQ of 55. And they're like, wait, what about this? Or what about Y? X? No, that's a whataboutism fallacy. If you make a claim, defend that claim. Don't say what about
That's his example. If you make a claim and then somebody says, well, what about this? That's whataboutism. It's like, you're an idiot, bro. Oh my God. Here, I'll give you what an actual whataboutism fallacy was. So, I'll use his example. Somebody claims that vaccines... No, and we need to do a real claim, by the way. So, we'll say vaccines do not cause... they do not cause you... They actually don't cause you to be retarded. They're just vaccines. They just wipe out viruses. Then you support that. You go, yeah, well, I saw this study. They did a study, and they gave all these people vaccines, and they monitored their IQ levels, and... it was completely the same. It was like 10,000 people, and it was completely the same. Like, there was no change in IQ level. It had no effect on their IQ level. And then somebody goes, well, yeah, but... And I was actually about to use an anecdote. So I was about to do a whataboutism and an anecdote. But if somebody goes... A better way, because the premise... Look at your paper. The premise is a comparison premise. So I'll actually do this. Their claim is that viruses... or vaccines are worse than masks are. Wearing a mask is better to combat viruses than vaccines are. Okay, so there's a comparison premise, way better. And the reason I'm using a comparison premise is because I want to show you how what I'm doing is not whataboutism. Okay, so his stupid, idiotic example where he just goes for no reason. He could have just stayed with X and Y. He didn't even need to bring up a vaccine because he never actually went and explained, like, what about this other thing that has also to do with vaccines or whatever. Or not to do with vaccines, but that would seem like it would, right? Which is what I'm about to do. So somebody says what I just said, and then the other person goes, well, yeah, but Dr. Fauci, he's been caught lying many times. That would be a whataboutism. It's also similar to almost like a red herring. They're kind of close, but it's like citing something else. It's like, well, what about how Fauci didn't like this sort of thing, or it could be close to. Again, this is more similar to anecdote. This one is, but well, what about all these people that I know died because of and they took vaccines, but these other guys that I've seen wearing masks, they haven't died. What about all of this stuff? That is a whataboutism. You understand that now? A whataboutism would not be if like the person who thinks that masks are better, if they said like, you know, vaccines, you can't really trust that they know where to disable the virus or whatever, but masks, I mean, that stops it right where it comes into your mouth. You realize, so it's better. Or no, what if they say masks stop like, hold on, no, they go, vaccines will stop like 80% of pathogens or 80% of, you know, that come your way, and that other 20%. And then I go, well, masks only stop 30%. This is a good example right here. And I go, masks only stop 30%. Again, the premise is comparing these two things, right? And so if they say vaccines only stop 80% of these particles that come through, and I go, well, do masks stop any more than that? Idiot Matt here is going, that's a whataboutism. We need to stay on this isolated subject and only talk about the vaccines and not the masks. No, idiot. The whole premise is that vaccines are better than masks are. So if somebody is saying that the vaccines can accomplish some goal, I might be like, yeah, sure, it can only stop 80%. I'm not arguing with that. I don't care if it's 80%, 90%. I'll give you that it doesn't, stop a lot of particles. But my premise is that they are better than masks, and masks don't do that either. So that's not a whataboutism. This stupid idiot doesn't get that. My God, bro.
So I'm going to ask the question again, sir. Did the JCPOA account for Iran's funding of the Houthis in Yemen, Hezbollah, and Hamas that all start conflicts in the Middle East that help destabilize it and undermine our allies there? Yes or no?
I'm going to say yes or no. Listen, I'm about to say yes or no.
Actually, elaborate. I'm not just yes or no. I'm not going to give you the economy. Tell us how.
He says elaborate, but he's not going to let me elaborate.
Oh, they did. If they did, like if it actually encompassed that, tell me how. Go ahead.
I'm about to explain how it's not whataboutism. So
Tell me if they encompass those things, sir. That's important, right?
No, it did not.
Oh, okay. There you go. Let me add on something to that.
I thought he was going to let me elaborate.
That's an explosion, sir. That's an explosion. Hold on.
Well, let me elaborate.
If you answered yes, I would want to know why. But you said it didn't, and I want to touch on why it's important that it did. I want to touch on why it's important that it did, guys. So in 2024, the Houthis were disrupting global maritime trade in the Red Sea. 1/10. You need this lecture, so you should really be listening.
I know. I've heard this lecture. I watched the recorded debate with Dean.
Right, where he got cooked.
Now that, my God, bro, he's not.
Where he got cooked too. The Houthis did $200 billion worth of economic damage. Not according to me, the World Economic Forum. Can you stop interrupting me?
Facts by me. 2.2 trillion by the war. Factual statement. You're worried about 200 billion from the Houthis. Well, what about the 2.2 trillion from this war that we started?
About this nonsense. Sir, relax. Thank you. Anyway.
I thought I was the one having selective outrage.
So, $200 billion.
Meanwhile, you're mad about 200 billion that the Houthis that you have no part in did. But you're actively supporting us disrupting the global economy by 2.2 trillion. Make it make sense. I'm the one with selective outrage? That is the definition of selective outrage.
Worth of economic damage was done in the Red Sea in 2024 alone, according to the World Economic Forum, by the Houthis. And they disrupted shipping that affected more than 12 nationalities, and 1/10 of global maritime trade goes through the Red Sea. Who is their main funder? Iran. Hamas launched an unprovoked war against the state of Israel. Yeah, you're going to hear these explosions go off, sir. By the way, 145 people currently watching on TikTok.
Has any of this changed? Look at your paper. Stop letting this asshole just isolate it and only talk about that. Look at your paper. Are any of these, the Houthis being able to disrupt the global economy in the Red Sea, has that been changed? Go read the agreement. Has that been changed? No, it hasn't.
If we're on TikTok, keep liking the live and sharing it.
Basically, what he's doing now, in my analogy right now, is he's going in and explaining, hey, look, this sort of bacteria can get through the mask. This sort of virus can get through the mask. Masks break a lot. When you wash the mask, it loses 30% of its durability. Masks can actually trap viral particles in them, and if you wear them inside out, it might actually do the opposite. It might have an adverse effect. He's going in and pointing and missing the whole thing, which is that, hey, idiot, vaccines are still better. It doesn't matter however you want to flip it and go into details and, hey, in 2024, did masks account for 30% of all the world's sicknesses? Yeah, sure, but also vaccines are way better. You see what I'm saying? Like, my God.
etc. So, and by the way, shout out to the over 3,000 people currently watching me, I believe, conjoined with X and YouTube. Okay, perfect. So, Hamas launches a war against Israel, the second largest terrorist attack, who is also a major funder of Hamas. Iran, the IRGC. Hezbollah, the proxy in southern Lebanon that disrupts and destabilizes the Middle East.
Which I guess I shouldn't have been given examples, because in my example, the person that was never mind. Just you get what I'm saying, bro.
The Assad regime.
I did my analogy a little backwards there, but you probably understand what I'm saying.
500,000 civilians. It obviously also constantly launches rockets at Israel. Who is their main funder? The IRGC. The JCPOA, this great deal, did not at all.
I never said it was great. He's so annoying. I could actually just wring this guy's neck. I'm being so serious. I could just break him in half. What is he talking about? Can you focus? Look at your paper. Can you focus on that? What's on your paper right now?
Main funder, the IRGC. The JCPOA, this great deal, did not at all address those things.
Like, what is he talking about? All that is still going to happen past this deal. They are still going. The IRGC is still going to fund these groups. You can say the JCPOA was a bad deal. Again, I don't want to get into good or bad or whatever. I do want to say it's the war was not good in the sense that, again, our outcomes is less favorable than it was under the JCPOA. Iran's outcome is more favorable than it was under the JCPOA. Period.
Saying it's a great deal now. The great deal the JCPOA did not. The great JCPOA did not address any of those things.
I didn't say it did. I literally agreed that it did, and then you go on to explain how it didn't do the thing that I just agreed.
People need to know that.
I don't know why you
know that. That's great.
See, what is he doing here? People need to know that. So you were just wrong about what you just said.
Saying it's a great deal now. The great deal the JCPOA did not. The great JCPOA.
All this was to respond to my argument. Let's back it up. Remember, all this right here that he's saying, he just admitted was only for his audience. So let's listen to it back with that in mind.
It disrupts and destabilizes the Middle East. Worked with the Assad regime to gas 500,000. So Hamas launches a war against Israel. The second, I believe, contributed by Iran. Hamas launched an unprovoked war against the state of Israel. Yeah, you're going to hear these explosions go off, sir.
He's just... Why? Why are you talking about any of this? Again, he just admitted that we both agree with all this stuff. I don't actually agree. I'm agreeing for the sake of argument, but we both agree with it. So why did he just waste our time? He is the world's biggest time waster.
Under the IRGC. The JCPOA did not
go on to explain how it didn't do the thing that I just agreed.
People need to know that.
I don't know why you.
People need to know that. They just need to know.
Whatever. Good job educating your audience for the thing that we both.
And you too, brother. It's fine to learn.
I already heard this. You educated me when I saw you retarded debate. That's when you educated me. I'm not debating.
Tell me, name a single. So you said it was, by the way, stop saying that word, not because I care, but because of TikTok. TikTok doesn't like that word, and it may force me to drop you when you say it. So TikTok doesn't like that word. But anyway, since you said it was a regarded debate, I'll say that word. Name a single thing I said during that debate that was explicitly false. Go.
You said.
Bro, I might just start making hundreds of alt accounts and just going and spamming slurs on his TikTok so he can get taken down. That would actually complete my life.
See?
He gives me 1 second to answer this obscure question. Hey, do you remember what I asked you just a second ago? Like, but even though I asked you 69 different questions, do you remember the one thing that I asked you that I have in my mind right now?
But he can't name a single thing I said that was false.
All right, I got you right now.
Oh wait, no, this is a wrong. I'm not. Okay, never mind. He says this later.
We were in a better position than under the JCPOA than we are now. The very thing we're agreeing
But
on,
even still, you can't remember one thing that I got wrong in that debate in 1 second. I must be right. I must have said only true things. I didn't say anything that was incorrect. I never say anything that's incorrect. I'm always right. I'm always right.
But you were like, I think I disagree with that. And even everybody disagreed with you on that. You were the only person on the
wait, hold on. That's appealing to popularity. It doesn't matter who disagrees.
I'm not appealing to popularity. I'm not using this as a reason to think that you're wrong. I don't care what that other guy says. I just want you to know that you are alone. You are the only person in your disgusting, decrepit, dark, disturbing, satanic corner now. Even Donald Trump has left you, and he is one of the sickest individuals on earth. And he left you.
With me, it doesn't matter that my partner was horrible. What was my question again?
Dean said, I think we were...
No, not what Dean said. What, sir? What was my question?
The prompt? You asked me what the prompt was?
What question did I ask you like 1 minute ago for you to answer?
Yes, you've been asking me a lot of questions. Bro, this is so cool.
Where's the sound effect,
bro? We're not in fifth grade.
What question did I just ask you, dude? About my debate?
Have a discussion and stop trying to
you said that my debate against Dean and Parker was, quote, regarded. I can't say the actual word because of TikTok settings or whatever. And I asked you a question. This is called comprehension tracking. And then I asked you a question right after that. What question did I ask you right after?
Bro, I don't know. That's not so I have bad comprehension skills because I don't remember
my question. I'll repeat it. Yeah, by the way, sir, you certainly do. My question was, dude, if I have autism, you probably should get it too because you need whatever I have.
I should get it.
I do not need whatever you have, and that doesn't make any fucking sense. You can't get autism. What are you talking about?
My question was, Name a single thing, because you called that debate regarded. Name a single thing I said that was false. And you were like, Dean,
Yeah,
that's not what I
because
asked
I
you.
can't
Name a
remember
single thing I said during that
It's
debate.
not what
that
I
was
said,
false.
actually.
Wait, give me a second. I gave you something, bro.
You
But
didn't give me a single thing. You said,
I'll
name a
give
single
you
thing I
yeah,
said that was false during that
I'll say it
debate.
again. You said that we were under a better position now than we were under the JCPOA in regards to our hold on their military capabilities. That's
Okay,
what I
great.
said.
Are there military capabilities? Okay, that was false. Okay, great. Are there military
Exactly.
capabilities? You're saying that was false. Great. You're saying that their military capabilities were more depleted.
The hold on it, the concessions that we have, the hold on it. Not did our bomb strike their bomb? Did our bomb strike their equipment facility? Yeah, of course we made these marginal gains, buddy. Sure. Are they going to build back up right after? Yes. Did you admit in your debate with Dean that them building up right after would be a horrible thing, because that would just imply us having to be into a forever war if the thing you say we're fighting for is making sure they don't have a large stockpile. So if we don't get them to agree to stop building their stockpile, then that would just mean blowing it up every single time. So I guess we're going to just keep doing this over and over and over and over and over again. This is what a better position is to you, is having to blow them up over and over again with no concessions on them stopping building up. This is what a better position is to you, just because, oh, well, technically they have less missiles before right now than they did at the start of this war. Technically. I mean, they're going to build it right back, and my logic implies and necessarily means that we would just have to keep intervening over and over again, but it's still a better position. At least right now it is. We're not going to be in a better position in a few years because they're going to build it right back up. But, I mean, I can at least just say right now, technically, they have less bombs. And I'm just going to focus on that. I'm not going to look at anything else. I'm just going to focus just on that. They have less bombs right now than they did at the start.
Completed during the JCPOA, encompassing everything. Their
I'll say
navy,
that
their missile stockpile, their drones, all of those things.
they had no.
We still have no deal. We have nothing to constrain them on those things. What are you talking about? They can still build up their ballistic missile stockpile. They can still build up their drone stockpile. They can still do those things. They can build their navy right back up with this $300 billion grant we just gave them. And tens of billions more in unfrozen assets. They're going to do that. So what are you talking about?
Yes, I mean, I
What?
say that. No. Okay, obviously they're bombed. Like, they have less than they did before. They still have a ton.
Yeah, they have less bombs than they did before.
And they were still closer to a nuclear weapon than they were before. Period.
No, that's not
Yes,
the
they
thing.
were. That is true.
There's
Yes, they are.
more. There's more. You're talking about nuclear enrichment.
And we were doing that all without.
Yeah, which is closer than to a bomb. The closer. This is what the whole thing was about anyway. You put a story out there talking about, look, they're at 60%. They're getting close. We need to launch this war. So before you understand that enriching closer to 90% is getting closer to a nuke, but now all of a sudden, when it doesn't benefit your argument, it's not. That's not what being closer to a nuclear weapon is. Okay.
You're talking about nuclear enrichment, which is something else. So I'm going to go ahead and clarify for you. During that bad deal, when all that terrorism was happening because they were giving all this money away to different terrorist groups because Biden was unfreezing assets and so on and so forth. During that bad deal, they had a larger missile stockpile. They had a stronger navy. They had their military.
Sure, they had. Oh my God. Sure, they had those things. Because we bombed them. But if that's your criteria for being in a better position, and you're not at all looking at their ability to build back up, you're not at all looking at the losses that we gained, you're not at all looking at the financial benefits that they gain, and they can probably build back and then have some left over after that. You're not looking at the service members that were killed. You're not looking at the money we collectively paid in oil or in gas prices. You're not looking at, like, I could genuinely just keep going on. You're not looking at any of these other negatives. You're just like, yeah, well, technically they have less bombs than they did before, so it's good. What are the implications of that, Matt? If that's how you think good is, if that's how you think of better, what a better outcome looks like. You are an idiot. Oh my Lord.
They had their military facility, they had all of their nuclear facilities intact, and none of them were actually bombed.
Didn't matter.
During midnight.
Doesn't matter. It literally doesn't matter. Under the JCPOA, they weren't enriching it to get closer to nukes in the first place. You idiot.
Remember, we
Didn't
destroyed,
matter. They didn't
we destroyed
have the
20, we destroyed
bombs. They weren't
20,000 nuclear
operational. They were
fugitives.
not
Sir,
enriching.
let me finish. Sir, you're interrupting, man. Calm down. Their missile facilities.
Why don't you respond to what I'm saying? Like he loves doing this. He can hear what I'm saying clearly, but he's just like, you know what? I'm not going to listen to it. I just need to keep going on my spiel. I just need to keep reading out my script.
Facilities were also intact. So all of those different things
Don't matter. You keep saying that. You said that
You're
so many
interrupting.
times. It doesn't matter.
So if you encompass that and then you encompass the terrorism funding, yes.
Yeah, I'm interrupt. I have to interrupt. I'm never debating him again, bro. I have to interrupt. Why would I not interrupt right now? If this was my live, I would be telling you to shut up and get on topic. It does not matter. Doesn't even help support your point. It doesn't matter. It does not matter. It does not matter. How many times have I said that in this video? He's such an idiot. This is a staple of a retard if you don't understand what facts are relevant and which ones aren't. I sincerely believe that is how you tell the IQ of people whenever you talk to them about things like this.
Now than we were doing the JCPOA. But thank you for coming up. I don't want to stay with the guest for too long. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. This guy doesn't seem to be able to track conversations, but we're now gonna bring up
That's you, bro. That is literally you.
other guests as well. But I'm also gonna be checking the chat, guys. So you two people are saying congrats. Okay. Yeah, Global Atlantis, I agree. I don't have any idea what this guy's actually been talking about.
What is this dude talking about? Dean and Parker are liberal soy boys who can't debate without their mute button. That is his whole tactic. He was muting me this whole entire time. I was probably muted more than I wasn't in the duration of talking to this guy.
Make sure you know that. Let's also check the YouTube chat. I mean, we're looking at all the chats right now, so.
So again, his criteria for being good all of a sudden now, even though in his Jubilee debate he realized this would suck peen, is that as long as we launch a war and we just limit their, which is the natural end result of any war. Of course, the natural end result of any war is going to be that their missiles are depleted, that their ability to project negative power, as he calls it, which is, destroying a lot of their weapons. Of course, that's going to happen. If that's what a good war is, then every war is good. Every war has a good outcome because, we destroyed some. They're technically weaker now than they were before. Like, that is the implication of that logic. And also, and also, it's not just that every single war ever that we've ever waged is good because we've at least weakened their power. We've weakened the regime. They have less nukes now than they did before. It's also that as soon as they build it back up, since apparently destroying this is such a massive problem, we need to weaken their ballistic missile stockpile. Well, as soon as they build back up with this $300 billion grant that we just gave them, we're going to have to do it all over again. How has he been flown out? Like, where is my attention, bro? Where is how is he popular? How are there so many people in his comments right now glazing him? This is insane. This guy right here says, Global Atlantis says, this guy talking about me is boring. He has no idea what he's talking about. Bro, really the thing that hurts me most is that I'm boring. Like, come on, bro. I'm not boring, bro. You actually think I'm boring? But saying that I have no idea what I'm talking about, what do you mean? At least I can think logically. At least I can stay on topic. At least I can stay on track. Like, my lord. This was the most infuriating discussion I've ever had to take part in.
I'm just making sure, we're just making sure we clarify certain things with these people, okay? Because it's like he's not understanding in every single way. When I said this, at the time I said that, I was right. We're in a better position than we were during the JCPOA because...
At the time you said that? Really? So now he realizes... Stop talking about at the time you said that, first off. We're not at the time that you said that. We're post the deal. It's like he subconsciously understands that this deal sucks and that now, after the deal, we are in a worse position than we were before. But he's going, well, at least before we were destroying their stuff and we didn't give them the money yet. So technically, we were in a better position. Yeah, that's only if you look at the fact that they are technically weaker now. You're not at all looking at any of the losses at all. You are only you have to compare the losses to the gains. I'm not even calling them, in my eyes, they're not gains. But even if I grant to you that they are gains, you have to compare these gains to the losses, period. And they're not even real gains when they can just literally build it all right back. You admitted that in the Jubilee debate, that a good deal would include them not being able to build it back, because if they can build it back, then we would just have to go back to war. If your logic is true, that we need to make sure they never have a nuclear or not just a nuclear weapon, but they never have a large ballistic missile stockpile either, or a large navy either. As soon as they have that again, back to war, back to giving them $300 billion more. So no, it's not good. That's not what good is. Just because it's technically less. My God, I hate him, bro. I hate this guy so much.
So many different things were happening during the JCPOA that were not accounted for by that bad deal. Okay?
So many things were happening that weren't accounted for by that bad deal. This actually sounds like a 5th grader talking. This sounds like some middle schooler or something. So many bad things happened during the JCPOA that were not accounted for by that bad deal. Isolation. If there's 2 words you take away from this video, let it be isolation and comparison. I guess those 2. You need to stop isolating everything and start actually comparing them. Sure, again, call it bad, call it whatever. I don't care what you call it. Just compare it to what we got now. And stop saying, well, it doesn't matter. I don't have to compare it to what we got now because technically it hasn't been signed yet. Well, I don't have to compare it to what we got now because, I mean, just by doing the war, just through the war alone, we kind of destroyed a lot of the stuff they had. Therefore, it's better. Okay, I guess we just got to start bombing them every single time they build up now. If that's what good is, that's not good. That's not a good thing. Just wasting our resources to destroy their resources, then giving them more resources to build their resources back. And now, so we made these marginal gains here, or we'll just call them substantial gains. We made these temporary substantial gains where we destroyed their navy, regardless of if it's minor. Definitely temporary. We made these temporary gains, and now, at least for this foreseeable future, we have to pay a toll every single time we go through the Strait of Hormuz. Okay. We have to give them $300 billion more, which you said was unpeaceful when it was only $50 billion of their own stuff back. And this is good to you. This is what good is. By your own logic, it's not good, idiot. I'm done. My head is actually hurting right now. I'm not even playing. My head is throbbing because I can't. These people are so annoying. And what really gets me is how, bro, I swear, and I'm not even trying to be a view gremlin right now. I don't mind not getting views for real. But what really makes me mad is the comparison. That's actually kind of cool. It's very similar. In isolation, I don't care about not having the views. But comparing this to him to me, how does this dude have more than me? This is what I don't understand. I understand why somebody like Kyle Kulinski would have more. Okay, I understand why somebody would like Legal Eagle would have more. But this guy, how are there people that listen to him? I'm done. That's it. I'm actually done. Please have a good day. Try not to think about this little queer anymore. And yeah, I'm going to try to do the same.